All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Space Brothers, episode 41. We have a suit breach.
Yep, and they're in the pit.
Yep.
And this is not looking good.
No, not particularly. They both have their own very different problems that they're dealing with. But JAXA and NASA are working together on this, and they know which specific hole they fell down into. So that's at least something.
Yeah, and the astronauts are getting their vehicle prepped up. They're on their way. They're not going to have that much of a window here, though, which means that every little thing that Hibito and Damien can do here matters, but also every negative thing that happens to them here
Matters.
So, Damien, Hibito, suit breach. You got to patch that up.
Yep.
You got to figure out a way to then have Hibito still be breathing when they get here.
Right. You know, simple, basic things. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah.
This is Space Brothers. Hibito's not going to die.
At this moment, it is possible to save Damien.
Right.
It might not be possible to save Hibito. If it is possible to save Hibito, but not you, do you then choose lives here?
Right.
Because we might actually be headed towards that situation where somebody chooses somebody else.
Yep.
And if that's the case, then I can actually feel a lot more confident that Hibito is probably going to live.
Yes.
But
But
even
still,
so, that's the situation we could be headed towards right now.
Right. Hibito is currently in more danger than Damien.
Yes.
So that's the problem.
That's a problem. So, yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, we're going back a little bit before the,
Yeah. See all the details of what happened.
Yep. So he yeets it up. That's got to be so cool to feel like you have absolute, like, super strength. Like, how much do you think you could yeet something that's probably about 12, 15 pounds up in the air?
Oh, gosh. I
Like, do
don't...
you think you could throw it 30 feet in the air?
Oh, no.
15
Nah.
feet.
I'd hope 15 or 20 feet. But
Like, it was aerodynamic and
Yeah,
everything.
but like a solid 15 pounds.
Right. So multiply that by 6. That's what you could do on the moon.
Yeah, that's true.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Literally when he's at... Oh, my God.
Well, he was testing a grab point.
Yeah.
So he got up like a decent bit too. So he was probably like 20 feet up. His final moments before he dies, dreaming of them being in a 80s sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
80 minutes to live. God damn.
Well... Then I hope the vehicle's already on its way.
He's getting cold, yeah.
No, and he gets flung further down. Oh, no, okay. All right.
Okay. We can work with this. There's no, like, constant hissing of air.
He's not moving.
Oh,
Don't bring in this music right now.
Wait, actually, this makes it more intense because what Damien might have to do is if he does have the means to save him, he has to move with a broken leg
God.
and potentially freezing to death
Yeah.
to make some kind of a sacrifice or a judgment call. Halfway.
往復分の電力しか準備できてないの。予備電力として最低でも今の倍は必要よ。
Jeez. What if we don't be safe? Yeah.
関係あるかはわからんが、日々は光るものを見たと言っていたんだ。あの付近で。なんだバディ、また UFO の話か。
No, I'm just wondering, like...
ないとは思うんだが、マーキュリー6号のジョン・グレンに始まり、アポロ計画じゃ8、11、12、15、17号のクルーがみんな発光物体を見てるんで。
Just saying, it's not just me.
消えて2人も消えたんだ。 もしかしたら何か関係が。いや、関係ないとは思いつつ。
We can think about this and talk about this later.
I mean, they have nothing to do. They have nothing to do. They're just waiting. Great transition, yeah.
Okay.
起りうる最悪のケースを想定して考えてくれ。
だったらバギーはもう動かないと考えた方がいい。二人とも通信できていないはずだよ。
なら二人は会えていないかもしれない。
宇宙服の破損も考えら。
Yep, good stuff. They're all bringing up. Yeah.
Yep.
ビートルの充電完了を待っている間に今すぐ動かせる無人ローバーを遠隔操作で現地へ向かわせてください。
Okay, yeah.
ギブソン以外の無人探査機を、それから酸素生成ローバーのブラ
Yeah.
何がどう役に立つかわからないんだ。送っておいて損はない。
確かにな。
Yeah, the fact that that needed to be recommended. Like,
Yeah, get all units there.
look at all these little guys. All these little guys are gonna be like,
Yep,
we're
yep.
on our way.
ますが、現地にはちょっと遠すぎます。
Okay, that
あ
that
と
makes
スパイダー
sense.
ですが、本ミッションでの役割は終えて停止状態です。
So it's not able to be powered up in time.
Gotcha.
トルの方が早く発進できます。
Sure.
了解。ブライアン3号に二人のバギー。
Brian could save them. Brian is
Yeah,
still
that
on
would-
the moon.
That would be so sweet.
And it's an oxygen dispenser. Like,
I know,
like
I
It
know.
could literally be the thing that saves Hibito.
All right. Are you satisfied with your care?
Yeah. Okay, this is
Alright.
hype.
正しかったな。フレディたちが着く前に現場をカメラで視認
Awesome.
できる。
Yeah, to maybe help find them.
Look at that thing chugging along. It's going.
Okay.
It's moving. Okay, the timetable has changed a little bit.
Yep.
Because even if it can only, like, peer over the edge, you know,
Right.
that's something. Oh my god. This is stressful.
日々と。なんだ今の衝撃。
Yeah, he can see it.
日々と背中を見せろ。
Yeah. Yeah, you're leaking air.
破損してる。予備タンクに切り替わってる。
Oh, it's empty already.
酸素残量ゼロ。予備タンク酸素残量80分。
Wow.
Okay.
80
All right.
minutes.
But it's the tank, not the suit.
酸素を供給できる構造になっていればよかったが、どうすりゃいいんだ。
So yeah, he does not have a way to give him the oxygen. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be...
やうのか。フレディたちが来るのは今からくそ落ち着け。
Do you have to leave Damien then?
Potentially.
一人ならなんとか上まで。
Yeah, because that would buy him a lot of extra time. Like, either get up to the top or just go to sleep. Like, try and stretch that
But
80
the idea
minutes
of
as long as you
prioritizing
can.
the other astronaut's survival.
がガキの頃素直に月へ行きたいって思えたのは。
Oh, man. All that work gonna make his oxygen go quicker, too.
きっとアポロの飛行士たちがみんな無事にちゃんと帰ってきたからだ。
Wow.
Okay.
What a guy.
All right. All right.
So even with that, he is basically saying, I'm gonna prioritize making sure you're getting out of here.
Yep.
Do what little I can.
帰るぞ。
All
Yeah,
right.
so if you keep throwing it up, then climb
Yeah.
up, and then hold it.
仲間の救助が来るまで待機することが基本だ。ダミアンたちもそれぐらい分かってるはず。
Oh, wait, this could actually be fine because in the actual rover that they're coming in, they're not needing to be in their suits, so there's oxygen in it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
二人の無事を祈ろう。俺たちにできるのは、
Oh,
弟ブライアンの事故の時は
yeah,
Oh, all right.
yeah.
All right.
暇さえなかった。
Yeah, it was all so quick. By the time you knew it was coming, it was already over. Yeah.
もう誰も死ぬことのないように祈ろう。
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
God. God, I love the, like, eerie darkness of...
The silence and just
Yeah.
nothing.
よし
Looks like you're making progress. I mean, this is something. Okay, we're back up to where Gibson is.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, okay. Let's go.
やった
Yeah?
All right, you can work with that.
OK だダミアン
Oh no, he's passing out. It's so cold.
斜面を横方向にゆっくり降りてきている
Gotcha. Okay. Right, because you guys cleared the edge, whereas it just rolled down. All right.
Okay. I love the idea that it's got like the smart AI in it that can...
ダミアンを早く日向に出して体を温めないと
Okay, I like it.
Oh, you need to get on it.
Yeah, like if you can fit on it, it'll be able to carry you.
酸素残量あと40分
God.
Oh my God.
Mom and Dad.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Hi.
No words, no thoughts.
No.
はい
This is not them anyways. I think it was
Muta. Yeah.
somebody else. I think it's
日比斗君とダミアンはこの谷に落ちて
2 hours.
All right.
Cool. So they're already on their way.
フレディ船長とバディがビートルで
And we cut away. We didn't show them leaving the Beetle. So they might have done less charge to save time.
Yeah. That's their only way out right there.
その位置じゃ2人が落ちた位置から20キロくらい離れているよ。
なんでそこに
日々とは多分じっとしていないからです
That's wild though, because that's 20 kilometers. That's a gamble, but like,
It would save time. I
Yep.
mean, unless it's
ここだけ傾斜が緩やかになっています。要は2人がこの緩やかな場所から谷を登ろうとしていると仮定してビートルをこっちへ向かわせてはという JAXA からの一案です。
落下した現場で待機している可能性の方が高い。ビートルはそのままバギーの落下地点に向かわせろ。
Ozma's gonna speak up.
if it ends up being something where Hibito dies because they're just in the wrong spot, that's gonna be brutal.
I have to fire another flare to let them know they're on the move.
Sure. Yeah. God, and he's gonna be burning through that oxygen.
That's the
Excellent
episode.
directing
Wow.
choice. Yeah. Sounds of the breathing coming in. Okay, but you're right. They do have the flare. So,
Yeah.
and as Hibito's going, he's probably going to be thinking about that kind of stuff and like, okay,
Like, I have 10 minutes left. I have 15 minutes left.
yeah.
You know, stuff like that.
Okay.
All right. Hibito's suit has lost its main oxygen tank.
Yeah.
I like it's just done, but obviously they have a partitioned backup for these kinds of situations.
Yep.
That makes sense. He's bringing up Damien on Gibson because they were able to transfer the battery, which, hey, that works. That's convenient,
Yep.
but there
Awesome.
you go. Okay. Everybody's on their way, and even the little automated bots are on their way.
Uh-huh.
I love that because they made the point that Brian J's one,
Yep.
Brian J number 3 is an
oxygen
oxygen
making-
one.
yeah,
So
uh-huh.
we could have a situation where Hibito's lifespan gets extended here.
Yep.
Maybe.
Maybe. And so,
Oh,
awesome. cool stuff. Like I really like what they did in this episode in that they ramped up the tension. They made it so that it's not like an actual suit breach, right? Which would just be, okay, Hibito's donezo, right?
Right.
But then we also have all of these things that we basically set up that could make it so that Hibito can be okay, right? And we don't know all the intricacies and details of that, right? Like the thing set up of like the beetle being like, all right, we've charged for 30 minutes. We could get there and back, but we want, extra in order to be safe, especially if there's something like, oh, hey, they're in a different spot in the crater, right? And so you need to have that extra. But we didn't see them actually leave, so we don't know what they actually did, right?
Right.
We don't know what the bots are going to do. Yeah, right.
Right. My favorite thing about this is that the bots being sent feels very cool because Azuma being the one that, like, brings this up is like, oh, cool. His character being impactful and having agency and choosing something here, his competence being put on display is really fun.
Right.
But specifically the idea of the bots then being faster, or at least one or two of them being faster, is cool because we then followed that up in this episode by showing that, well, Gibson has AI, basically. It'll know the best way to get back to base, basically.
Right. Yep.
So they just tether Hibito to it. And so by making Hibito run alongside it, he's basically not slowing down Gibson
It's
in
just
any way.
No undue strain. Yeah. And
by not adding extra weight to it.
Right. And so
every little bit counts. Yeah.
Right. And it was not designed to carry a person, So, yeah.
So it could probably go faster, but hey, we have to...
he's prioritizing Damien's life, right?
Yeah.
So okay, cool. And the him running behind it, and yes, that is absolutely going to burn through his oxygen faster.
Yeah.
Like and the
even
the
if
sounds
it's not
of
as
his breathing.
stressful to run at that speed, I'm guessing he is still being pulled a little bit by Gibson.
Yeah, and there's almost now this is a level of detail that is not going to be important for the show, so they're not going to go into it. But given that, like, when you're running, for part of it, you're in the air, right? Like, you're not actually touching the ground. If it's also pulling him, would it be kind of boosting his running because it is also towing him with the cables?
Well, it would also be slowing down Gibson.
Sure, yeah. And so
in the aspect that he's trying to help him, it's actually like there's a chance that eventually he might not be.
Yeah.
And that could be interesting, given that the next episode is called Hibito's Choice. So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But all right, we're coming down to the wire here. We're coming down to the counting minutes, aspect of the thriller.
Yeah.
I'm still confident because of the bots. But the idea that we got Muta in there and he's like, okay, let me see what's going on. This is our sit room, basically. Okay.
Yep.
Hibito's probably going here. He's just the kind of person that would be on the move. He's not going to be able to sit still. I know my brother.
Yep. He's bouncing around and saying yay when he gets to the moon. Yeah.
Like the fact that you don't have communication, the fact that you don't have everything going on here, even with worst case scenario or best case scenario, you should go here. And I like that from Muta's perspective, this is probably where he'd think Hibito is. But he's not assuming the amount of scenarios that basically just make them incapable of moving.
Right, or that Hibito's the one who can't move and it's Damien that's moving, or,
Right, and then the other side of it that is just is just so dumb if you think about it here. Hibito, you're going for the, hey, I'm going to save everybody here option. The actual one that gets you the best, like, angle of, of saving at least one person here is actually staying still in a lot of ways because Damien has enough oxygen for that. You don't.
That's
so
true.
You're doing this actually makes it harder to save Damien.
That's true.
And you are more kind of trying to save everybody here.
Yeah, and so
you're doing this could cost you your life.
Right. I mean, he would die if he doesn't do this, right?
No, I know, but it's like it's like the
yeah, in the same way that, like,
you could cost your life and Damien's life, basically.
Right. The fact that he went down and joined up with Damien, that in and of itself was another decision that's like, okay, now it ended up being good, right? It saved, it could have saved Damien, right? Because otherwise he would have frozen to death. But
now he's in this.
But now he's in danger, and theoretically, when the rescue crew comes in, he could have just been like, all right, cool, I'm here. I don't know where Damien is, but,
Yeah, and obviously he's going to use the flare at the point that he's like, hey, we're now starting to crest.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where we are.
Right. Yeah, or maybe even before then, to get the advantage of, once we crest, we'll probably be able to signal them, but, yeah.
Right. I think the part that he's probably in the situation of is that I am going to die. I need to get Damien to warm sun
because
as fast as possible.
Right, because the blanket is not going to save him.
The blanket is not saving him. It is killing him.
Mm-hmm.
The temperature is killing him.
Yeah.
So if he can get this whole thing moving there, then he can fire the flare for Damien, who might be unconscious by that point.
Sure.
And then be like, okay, now save him. Oh, look, I've got 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
right.
I guess this is cool.
Yeah.
And then slowly, as he's starting to black out, Brian J. comes
yeah,
over to him, and he's just like
Wally,
yes!
Going to save the plant.
He gets to hook up directly to the robot.
Oh, sure.
That would just be so cool. The idea that Brian J's robot, after going through all this stuff about, oh no, Brian J's still on the moon. And that was where the dad lied.
Yep. No,
accurately.
I know. No, exactly.
No, Brian J is still on the moon.
Right.
But it's Brian J number 3.
Yep. There are plenty of ways that they're establishing for it to be poetic that Hibito does make it through. Not just because Hibito doesn't die. Because again, with how we got into this situation, that wouldn't be the most satisfying way to do it, right? It's to get at all of the other astronauts and things like that.
Right.
In particular, one who has died, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
I'm excited.
The show's got me locked in. I'm okay.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
All right.
Right.
Maybe it was a bit dirty.
It was a bit dirty the way you got there.
But all right. You got us.
Oh man. I am very excited for Hibito to make some kind of choice sacrifice or some kind of big decision here that ends up being like, okay, that was it. That was the moment that basically turned this from being a hellish situation to being a, okay, there's a chance. It's very doable.
And I think it's going to be the fact that he does get them pretty close to the top because, well, also just the fact that they're hooked up to Gibson. That's huge.
And
because
Gibson
then
will just keep going.
Gibson will keep going. We could get a situation where Hibito has passed out, but he hasn't died, right? And he's just getting dragged by Gibson.
That would actually be really cool to see that it's not necessarily that he's being dragged by Gibson, but he ends up climbing onto it. Mm-hmm. And that way he's not actively hurting Gibson's chances of moving.
But what I could totally see being the decision is that
decouples himself from Gibson.
Yes, because Gibson can't make it over the slope. It's a bit more top heavy because it's it's carrying Damien, and so he decouples so that way it can get out. Now the thing is, they brought up the flare, so I really hope they use the flare because if that's a thing where it doesn't get used and it's it was a difference of minutes.
It feels
or
like
something.
that we've already crested through one point where it would have been good to use the flare.
Exactly,
but if they use it in this next episode here, that's also, I would say, an even better place to use it because it's hey, we're moving, hey, we're over here, hey, we're also not necessarily in a good way because we're moving. You know for sure that
it's urgent and stuff. We shoot
right,
Attack on Titan style. You shoot it at an angle,
because if we have
and it's
10 hours and there's no issues there, you just sit and wait.
Right.
There's no problem there.
Yeah. So exactly.
Right. Now, this is the part that I also really just I didn't like here a little bit. They said, hey, we have to plan as if both of them are alive, but we also have to assume the worst case scenario.
Right.
If they go with the worst case scenario, then it's kind of a crapshoot because you could go with the worst case scenario in that they're both incapable of moving or saving themselves or anything. And then at that point, then you're not really planning on both of them being alive. But if you go with the worst case scenario with both of them being alive, that could involve them moving. And that's the thing, is that I love the decision to be no, we have to commit to this. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, NASA's decision makes sense, right? I get it,
Right, but the idea in their meeting room of hey, we have to plan for the worst case scenario while also assuming that both of them are alive and can be saved. Yeah. And under those scenarios, they brought up all the things that could be going wrong. But then I guess at that point, then they have to remember the training that they were taught of, hey, you prioritize one person's life. So then if both of them are out and unconscious and incapable of doing anything, then you go to the spot where it is.
Right.
If one of them is out and the other person's okay and they have a suit rupture or what have you, then you still kind of go to the place that they were last at, because the one that's dying would basically set up the other to succeed.
Yeah, exactly. It's the don't go for anything crazy, like, you know, some Hail Mary or whatever. Go for the consistent thing, because that's what they will be more likely to do as well.
Which then, again, brings us back to Hibito being like, the moving thing is kind of a way to save yourself. It's not actually a way that...
Well, no, but it is a way to save Damien, because he'll...
No, because he's attached to it. If you just trust Gibson, you're only going to slow Gibson down.
Oh, sure. Yeah. No, yes. He is going for the... I would love to also make it out of
All
here.
he would really do is just give his flare to Damien and be like, fire this once you feel like you're about to go unconscious.
Sure. Yeah.
And that would be
and that's
no hope for
and that's
Hibito,
where you know, the whole idea of the next episode being Hibito's choice is, I feel like
he's just gonna realize that sooner rather than later.
The flags are absolutely setting things up where this is where Hibito dies kind of a thing. But if the Hibito's choice thing is that it's the, hey, while I've been running for the last 20 minutes or whatever, I've absolutely been like being like, okay, we're following the trail. What do we do? I have the flare. I'm guessing he probably knows that, like, the best time to use it. You know, he does some quick math of like, all right, they're going to be en route. We're going to be getting to a different place, so we also need them to be able to get there. All right, I'll fire the flare so that way they'll know to go into that general direction to meet us up or something. But,
all right. Yeah. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You got an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if any of that interests you. We'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.